Okay, so far AI has just not been funny. With Sora 2, the technology is honestly pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie about that. But every video I have seen about that shit has just been like, hey, let's put these two people into a wrestling ring. Hey, let's see these two people at the same thing. And like the joke is these people in this spot, sure. It's just not funny. Okay. I think like the clearest example for me was there was Ronald Reagan, JFK in like WWE in the 90s or some shit with Reagan playing Vince. And so like the Vince part was actually pretty well done. Like the mannerisms between Reagan and Vince was actually well done. But what didn't work is JFK just walked down to the ring like normal, like he's just JFK, not like a wrestler or anything like that. And that's kind of the thing about it is like there's no real like punchline with a lot of this stuff. There's nothing that's actually interesting or humorous so far. I don't know if the AI understands how to make something funny. Like I would say the same thing with like the gay Jake Paul thing where it's like there isn't really a joke. It's just like here's gay Jake Paul. Okay, like whatever. And frankly, when it comes to comments and people talking about it, more than anything, it's just like kind of horror and revulsion that's kind of happening right now. So, it's just not, it's not funny. It's not fun. Frankly, it's kind of disturbing in a lot of ways, and I don't think anybody's really having like a fun time with the Sora 2. Also, why they name it after a Kingdom Hearts character? I know it's a Japanese word that means like wind and change or whatever, but like, come on. We all know that was named after the fucking anime Disney guy. Come on. A lot can be said about WWE's Saudi deal, the brand washing, all that stuff. The airplane fiasco, the way they have to handle female wrestlers. Anyway, why is this belt so goddamn ugly? We have moved into direction with pretty much every WWE belt into a positive one, and then now we see this thing. The premise sounds bad too. Even if you look into like what the storyline is gonna be, I'm not a fan of this. I don't think there's really much positives I can say about like this whole concept. When it's like champion versus champion, it's just having one superior to the other is just like why would you watch the inferior brand? It's just and this being a yearly event, oof, I'm just not a fan of this conceptually. But it's another Saudi deal. I don't know if this one's gonna be more canon than the previous one. Because last time we had a new belt from Saudi Arabia, this thing, it was at that show and then gone, disappeared into the void. Like I saw so much more of Titus O'Neil falling down underneath that, underneath the ring than I ever did about this belt. So maybe it'll just be as non-canon. I mean, Gunther is the best version of a final battle for WWE right now. Goldberg versus Gunther, it was fine. It was a lot better than what I personally expected. I still believe in Gunther as a wrestler. His final match for John Cena just makes sense. He is a big bad that they can feed a underdog babyface to, and every time it's gonna mean something, him being beaten by Sammy, it still meant something because Sammy is a great underdog and Gunther is a great monstrous heel. So feeding Gunther, somebody who is only gonna lose no matter what with this match and give it to somebody who continues to be a monster, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. The only thing I will say is the you know the aesthetics of the 1940s area of Europe with John Cena, it's kind of weird. I want to be clear, like Gunther's way better than just like that aspect of his character. He's a fantastic wrestler. It's just like an odd pairing in this day and age in that kind of storyline. But you know what? Gunther is good. He's a good wrestler. Yakuza going through some background checks more so than any other game series is inherently funny. Like this article says, the series has to go through a lot more background checks, partially because of its connection to like talking about organized crime and sex industry, etc., etc. And look, I get that. I think it's probably necessary with what kind of content is in this game, but this is also a ridiculous, ridiculous series. There's been several games where you assign a chicken to a employee position. There's everything that Majima does, Yakuza, and Vipers, and Hot Wheels racing. There's so many things about the series that is so beyond ridiculous. So it is very funny that somebody's gonna have to go through that way more often than they would say any other series. And maybe that's different compared to like GTA, because GTA does have an extensive process of getting out the door anyway. And I just think it's funny. Like, this entire series is so ridiculous, so insane, and yet, they gotta still take this game pretty seriously. Okay, nobody knows what tier Armor King's gonna be yet. There's a lot of speculation about this big guy for Tekken 8. I've seen a lot of different takes, and I get it. AK over here, he's got some serious moves. He got some serious sauce, that's for sure. He's got some awesome, awesome animations. But what I want people to understand and realize is it's gonna be a while before we really understand where this character lies. We understand there's a lot of moves, there's a lot of tools, but it's gonna be a while before you understand what this character is doing, what the players of this character know what they're doing. And look, I get it. Look, Armor King's been around for a very long time. There's people who've made him for decades plus. But it's still going to take some time. It's still going to take some time for people to figure out how good is Armor King. And you know what? That's cool. That's what makes the game interesting, is like there are new elements being brought into the game, new elements that people discover while playing the game that continues to make it fresh and unique and cool. It's a good game. Tekken, it's a good game.
So I do think competitive multiplayer games do have a lot of positives to them, and fighting games do get rid of a lot of the negatives. I think a problem with a lot of these systems is they just dehumanize your fellow players. Often I feel with League, Overwatch, a lot of these games, people are seen as more as functions of the game itself than actual people. And with fighting games, you just get rid of that. You don't have to worry about that because the only other function is the person you're fighting against. You're not relying on anybody else, and you losing is a matter of your skill, their skill, maybe some technical difficulties with lag or something like that, but most likely it's your skill versus their skill. And with that, you kind of have to sit with your skill level, and you have to ultimately say, this is my skill level compared to like blaming your teammates or the other team or a number of factors. If you're losing, it's your fault, and you have to just immediately accept that. But I think there's still some limitations. Fighting games have a lot of salt in them, a lot of angry people who are mad about losing. Those still exist. It's just the negativity from your teammates is gone. So while I think fighting games are better, they're not perfect, and there's still like a lot of work that needs to be done for them to be like a completely positive space. The other thing I will say is the fighting game community seems so much more diverse and like so much more different than I would say any other competitive multiplayer space. And that's really cool. And that's really positive to see as well.
Why do you care about Big Booba, video game lady, if all you're gonna do is be staring at her butt? People want more from the Ghost of Yotai character in the sexual department. I'm just like, okay, guys. And what I see is like obviously like more makeup for whatever reason to be more conventionally attractive and more boobs. And I gotta say, for both of them, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because obviously there will be a cutscene. Sure. You're gonna see their face, as you're gonna see everybody else's. But you know what you're gonna be staring at the most by far in the entire gameplay of it? Her back, her butt, her rear side. And like, that's the thing. I don't even care. I want to be clear. I don't give a shit. But always when I see people talk about the desexualization of video game characters as a negative, they always bring up mega boobas and like generic bullshit makeup. And again, you're not going to be staring at those things with your main character. You're going to be looking at their back and their butt, and that's it. And if it's a first person game, not really gonna look at them at all. Okay, frankly, that's why I don't get like Call of Duty skins. But I digress. Anyway, stop making this stupid argument. It's a fucking video game. Go watch stuff on the internet instead.
All right, all you guys complaining about Ghost of Your Time, Tekken 8, they got you. Mary Jo trailer just dropped. I really like her design. I think her gameplay is really cool looking. But again, people complain about the Ghost of Your Time character design. Go play Tekken 8. You know what? Tekken 8's a really fun game. And look, they got the big boob anime lady that you want, that you desire. And look, all you guys complaining about big boob anime lady being in the game, lame. Guys, come on. This is Tekken 8. This is Tekken. This is fighting games. I understand more diversity in the way women look in those games. Sure, totally. Lydia being the only one that's like really showing muscle definition. What? Why? But don't be mad. Don't be mad of over sexualized characters existing. If you want to have the power fantasy of Mega Muscle Man throwing people and chucking things, let me have the goofy anime girl that kills the muscle man. It's fun. That's what makes fighting games fun.